I will be doing a quick tank review for the German Tier 5 TD, the stug3 of G. This vehicle is one of my favorite TDs in the game, as the vehicle is quite mobile enough, have a good armor, a good gun, and somewhat of a good camo rating as it is low to the ground as well. The vehicle hull armor, as it is somewhat based on the PD3 hull. You can actually ricochet a good amount of rounds if you know how to ricochet enemy rounds just by angling the armor well enough. Now, let's cover the vehicle stats for the stug3 of G now. The vehicle stats when it is fully upgraded, it is not that good nor bad. Hit points, 350 hit points. That is not a lot of hit points. So you can die quickly enough if you get yourself into the wrong place at the wrong time. So be careful about that. This vehicle weighs potentially up to 26 tons. My setup, it is about 24. That means with the top engine of 440 horsepower, I will have about roughly 14 horsepower to 1 ton. Watch out for the engine fire though at 20%. The 14 horsepower to 1 ton means this vehicle, it is not that fast nor slow, but you can get to place A to place B quickly enough. The top speed, it is 40 kilometers. Most of the time, you can easily reach this whenever you are going downhill for the most part, or whenever you are on flat terrain only. The vehicle hull and turret traverse is quite good. Hull 47, so the hull can turn around quickly enough. And the gun traverse from left to right is quite good, 44. That means if you just sit back, you can take advantage of the gun traverse. This vehicle have a good amount of weak spots from the front. Lower plate here, if you can pen it. The vision part here, the hatches, and the capla. Side and rear can be penned easily enough. The vehicle armor, it is thick enough to ricochet rounds if you can angle the whole armor well enough or get the vehicle into a hold down position. The side and rear can be penned easily enough with HE rounds. The armor in the front is 80mm, 30 to the side, 50 in the rear. The gun depression, it is quite good. 8 degrees downward and 23 degrees up in the air. The rate of fire for the top gun, this is the 75mm Pak 42 L70 gun. This is quite the good gun on the vehicle. The E25 have a familiar gun as well. So for the most part, you can penetrate most targets that you are going to be shooting at. Unfortunately, you will have a problem at times penning heavily armored vehicles if they know how to angle their armor well enough. This gun is quite accurate and have a very good aiming time. Now the view range and the radio, they are not the best. View range 310 meters. That means if you want to have more view range added, you have to invest in certain perks and use either a coated optics or binocular telescopes. This vehicle, as the vehicle it is low to the ground, it's always a good idea to put a camo net on to increase the camo weighting as well, and to get the camouflage perk as well. The radio, the top one that you will get, it is a 415 meter signal range. That means most of the time, if you're on the far side of the map, you can easily lose contact with the rest of the teammates. So be careful about that. Now, let's cover the research part of the tank now. The vehicle grind for the vehicle is a easy tank to go through, especially if you went down the Hutzer, the stug3 to get to this vehicle, or especially the medium tank line, as most of the equipment will come from either the TD and the medium line, as you will see why in a moment. To have all of the equipment mounted, you will need to get the top pair of tracks, and you should get the top pair of tracks because the holdovers increase from 39 to 47. You have a choice of 3 engines. You can just use the first engine and the necessary equipment to move on to the Jake Panzer IV. But if you want to have a slightly better horsepower to ton ratio, you will have to research the second and third engine, which would be the 350 and the 440 horsepower engine. All of them weigh about roughly the same weight and have the same chance of engine fire. The good thing about the second and third engine, it is usable on other vehicles as well. So if you went down the medium line or even the light tank line, you will have all of these engines unlocked. Also, both of these engines are used on the stug3 off-B as well. The gun selection, for the most part, you will have most of them already unlocked, but let's cover the radios. The FUG5 radio is terrible. Do not use it. The top one here, it is not the best, but it is slightly better for 15 meters. The guns, you will begin with the L43 Stug 40L gun. This is not that bad nor good, but it gets slightly better once you have the Pak 49 L48 gun. The stats from the tool, let's do a quick comparison. But first, before I compare all of them, the howitzer here is a fun gun to use as well if you want to use it. It have howitzer's stats and the damage to match. The 10.5 centimeter Stug 42L28 gun is a fun gun to use if you are mainly going to be using heat or HE, as most of the time you can get high damage rolls most of the time, especially if you're facing off against thinly armored vehicles. The AP, it is quite good if you are only going to be shooting at thinly armored targets that you can actually pen with this gun, mainly other thinly armored TDs, light tanks, and artillery. Now to compare all of these guns. The rate of fire, it is roughly the same, but it does decrease a bit with the L70 gun. The pen increase over time from the first to the third gun, so the pen it is relatively good on all of these guns if you know the weak part of the tank. The damage output it is relatively low, but due to the high rate of fire, you can do a good amount of damage within a match with any of these guns. The accuracy gets better from .39 on the first gun to .33. The aiming times stay roughly the same. The main gun you're going to be using and the best gun on this vehicle is the L70 gun, and it is usable on other vehicles as well. To get to the Panzer IV, you will need roughly about 31k research points and just a bit under 1 million credits. Now, let's cover the pros, the cons, how to use this vehicle, and the equipment setup as well. I will cover the consumables first. I would go with the standard setup, first aid kit and a repair kit. The third item slot here, you can either use the manual fire extinguisher if you want to, or combat rations. But if you want to have a permanent increase, you can use the larger first aid kit when you are not planning to use it, or the large repair kit, as it will give you a permanent plus 10% to the repair of modules. Now, this vehicle does not carry a lot of ammo, 36 rounds. Within a match, you can easily run out of ammo due to the high rate of fire that the gun does have on this vehicle. So, trying to conserve your ammo, it is quite vital if you want to get the maximum amount of damage within the match from the 36 rounds of ammo you have. The majority of the ammo I would be using it is AP and APCR. Regular AP for the most part. You can pen most targets you are going to be shooting at while you are using the L70 gun. The APCR rounds, I would only save it whenever you are facing off against a heavily armored tank that knows how to angle its armor. The premium rounds, it is not that pricey. 7 gold pieces or 2,800 credits. So it's always a good idea to carry some APCR on you. And then HE is always handy to have some on you, just in case if you have to shoot at a thinly armored target such as Artie. Now, the equipment you are going to be using. Having the medium caliber tank gun rammer is always a good idea to reduce the loading time. The other pieces of equipment that you can use, it is the enhanced gun length drive to decrease the already good aiming time from 1.7 to 1.6 seconds. To increase the view range when it is staying still, go with the binocular telescopes. And then the last item slot, it is up to you what you want to go with. Improve Fence Class 2 or the Camouflage Net. Now, now, let's cover the pros and cons for this vehicle. As a Tier 5 vehicle, you will be getting a Tier 5 matchmaking between Tier 5 up to Tier 7. No matter what the matchmaking that you get, you can do quite well if you play to the vehicle's strengths and its weaknesses as well. What is good about the vehicle? It is quick, mobile, have a relatively good gun, and it have a relatively good camo rating as well because it is low to the ground. The gun have a very high potential damage per a minute gun if you take advantage to it. Now to the cons. Due to the armor value, most tanks from a Tier 5 up can easily penetrate the armor, especially from the side and rear. HE rounds from Tier 6 and Tier 7 vehicles can easily one-shot this vehicle easily enough. So be careful about that, especially from the side and rear. Due to the amount of hit points you have, you can be killed easily enough. As this is a PZ3 with a TD structure added on top, it have the PZ3 strengths and weaknesses as well. Now, how are you going to be using this vehicle? You will be playing this mainly as a support TD, or even as a medium to a long distance sniper. But if you know what you are doing, you can play the stug3 off G as a very aggressive TD. But it is quite vital that you know what you are doing in the vehicle if you want to do quite well whenever you are playing the vehicle at a very aggressive TD. I have two replays to show how well you can do in this vehicle. Let's go to them now. This replay, it's a Tier 5 maximum match to show you how well it can perform when it is top tier. I am heading to the hill now. This vehicle can easily hit the 40-kilometer mark when it is on flat terrain or going downhill, as you're seeing now. Let me speed the replay up a bit. In this replay, I messed up a bit due to my own tomfoolery and not looking what was behind me. I advanced very carefully, having at least some backup. I am using the terrain as cover from the west side of the map, but seeing the group on the hill there, this is where the tomfoolery on my part by accident come into play. Right now, I'm in somewhat of a bad situation. I cannot help my team out. Let me speed this part of the replay up. Also, it shows you the vehicle ability to climb certain degrees of hills. If the hill is too it is too steep, it have a problem climbing it.
Kette repariert. Weiter geht's. Wir haben sie böse erwischt.
Well, that round went nowhere. I fired blindly, hoping I would hit the top of the turret there. It seems that the group on the hill forgot me. Except for this KV1. Let me speed this up a bit. I am supporting my team on the hill there after taking care of this KV1. Switching to a PCR would be a good idea against this KV1. I am using the terrain to cover as much as the hull armor possible. This is where the rate of fire comes into play. I took a nasty hit from the KV1 derp gun. Now, the team, it is evenly matched. 4 versus 4. I am going to check the hill quickly. I got a lucky shot on the move there. I am just making sure this front here is cleared of enemy vehicles. Now, at this part, we have the numerical advantage, 3 versus 2. I wait up a bit for the team to do a circle to circle the enemy so they cannot flee. I am using the terrain here to try to get the upper hand on the enemy, while the other two actually spot for me. That round went nowhere. The second one did hit. By this point in the match, I have went through about half of my ammo. This is why the ammo can actually go through quite easily due to the high rate of fire.
Feuererlaubnis erteilt. Der ging voll durch ihre Panzerung. Wir haben sie.
This replay I did quite well in. I got myself 4 kills while getting myself about 1150 damage in this replay. Let's go to the next replay now. This replay, I will show you how well the machine can perform when it is not exactly top tier, whether it is a tier 6 or a tier 7 match. Let me speed the replay up a bit. I am going to be assisting my team in the south here. I will be using the sand dunes as extra protection as well. That T-67. I am trying to focus my fire on the vehicle there. The second shot missed. Seeing I'm not going to have any more hits on the vehicle, I chose to move to another location. It is quite vital that you make use of this vehicle mobility to support your team. I am trying to predict where that T-67 was going to be, but the 2 shell missed it there. I tracked that KV-1. I finally hit a weak spot in the front there. Probably hit the machine gun port and the vision port in the front there. I am needing my shot to finish this T-34 off. Missed the 2 shots there. That T-14 doing the same, leading my shots. By this point, I went through about half of my ammo during the match. After the 1 AP round, I have only HE and APCR left. Let's speed this up a bit more. My team is on the winning side. Now there are only 3 left. Seeing the other 2 vehicles haven't been spotted yet, I finished the Hellcat off. Now everyone is going for the last kill, the Hellcat. I switched to HE to make sure I will get a good damage roll and I can pin the Hellcat easily enough. This replay I did well enough in. For the 2 kills I got myself, I did about 1,000 damage, which is okay. For the matchmaking I got myself into. When it comes to tier 6 and tier 7, you can do relatively well if you play accordingly to what is going on. Let's go to the garage now. Let's do a brief recap for the stug3 off GTD tank. This vehicle, it is mobile, have a good gun, have good armor, especially if you can get it into a hold down position to take advantage of the good hull armor. Now, unfortunately, if you want to do quite well in this vehicle, it is quite vital that you play to the vehicle strengths and weaknesses as well. If you know what you are doing and play to the vehicle's strengths, you can do quite well in this vehicle. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the stug3 off G and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.